So like I was saying, the GDS message module is on your operations menu, and it's only accessible from within the AmeliaRes desktop application. So it's under the GDS menu item here. Beneficial will be when you log in the day to turn on this message monitor, because what that does is it gives a count of messages that are coming in that are not automatically processing. So it's at 28 right now because I have some messages queued up in here, so I could have something to show you guys as we went through. But typically this should be like 1, 2. You should never let it go over 3, 4 messages without checking to see why. And if you double click on this, it will actually refresh and load the GDS window here for you. So I'm looking at the last month for the filter option. So the screen is, I'll give you a rundown of the screen. So you have message types here. There's some filter options here. So we have message types. We have the message statuses. So we have received messages, processed messages, pending messages, and then sent messages. And you can look at all message types and all statuses if you wish to do so. For us today, we're looking at the receive for this piece. But the different message types that could be in here are, well, your PNR message, which is your booking messages. AVS, so this will only ever show the outgoing automatic AVS messages to Hanair, because we will send those out automatically for you. So to actually view AVS, you would have to go AVS and sent and switch the view to the outbox on the far right here. Okay. You won't be receiving AVS messages. Unknown messages, there's that will be like a broadcast message or something from Hanair about a service outage or something like that. There's very little go into the unknown queue. It's just more or less a fail-safe, a catch-all location for if there's a message comes in that we wouldn't process normally, but there may be information in there for somebody. P&Ls, so a copy of all your P&Ls that are sent would also be here. If I dump this open, this is training, there's nothing going to be in here, but in your live system you would actually see the P&Ls, so you can actually check your P&L sending from here. If nobody has gone over that with you already, you can load your P&L, like have a look and see what P&Ls are going out to the various airports right now. Same thing, the ADL is in here as well. NAR message and NCO message, you will see some of those coming in, and new arrival info and new continue info. When you see those messages come in, that means that there's another airline besides your airline listed on the PNR, and that airline has made a change, or the travel agent has made a change to the passengers traveling. Those messages will dump into these two queues, but there's nothing for you to do with them, only set them to process really. There's no action required on your side for an NAR message or an NCO message. The advice of okay. Okay, so the advice of schedule change messages, I will get into those as well. That is when you have passengers booked on flights and you make a flight cancellation or a flight time change, you will be able to send back the travel agency a message saying, hey, there's a time change, or we've canceled this flight and we've put the passenger on a new flight. So they'll get a TK message, a UN message, and I'll show you how to send those because that's very important as well. And those are all triggered from the alerts menu queue at the lower bottom there. Movement messages you're not using right now. That's something that I don't think you've asked to use. And your electronic ticket list, so your ETL, this will be a copy of the ETLs that we will send back to Hanair when you close out your flights in AmeliaRes. And I do believe that Hanair doesn't actually require the e-ticket list. They have a mechanism in place to set the tickets as flown so many hours after flight time.
We must have electronic ticket too, or not?
Yeah. You will have it, but they have. Yeah, they have a mechanism as well. Have they provided you with the with their Easy Check program?
No.
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 I know they used to offer that. Maybe they don't need it anymore. They maybe automated it. They used to have an Easy Check program where they would require that their customers check in the passengers in their system as well. So maybe they have a new solution to that. I can double check on the easy check with them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So back to what I guess the main goal of this session today is for us to look at the PNR messages, because that's where most of what we're going to be looking at. So this message did not process, but it did not process because I asked Hanair to send in a few, and I had processing turned off just for that reason. So I'd have some extra messages. So I'm assuming that you guys can read the message, you know, that this is the message it's coming into you, and it's coming from Hanair because this is their address here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and this is the Hanair record locator.
Mm-hmm.
The booking was originally made by an Amadeus travel agency, so this is their information, but it hasn't. You guys, this is the locator you're concerned with. This is all Hanair will ever reference is the one here, and they're making one booking on M4102 in a D class, which is H1301Y class for Hanair. Tirana to Milan, one seat, and the times. So for this one, to generate the booking, I will click the book button here. So if a message bounces, you should be able to double click on a message and get the book button coming up here and this screen. So you can see we've parsed out the passenger name, all of the details, and the Hanair information as well for one adult. So that's all okay. The payment type will always be BSP for this case because it'll trigger to Hanair, and you're clicking the book button. So there's the reservation number. So 153246. So we can actually go and bring up that reservation now from AmeliaRes. 246. All right. So there's the booking looks exactly the same as any of your web bookings or any of your call center bookings, except at the bottom of the screen there's going to be like an orange line with a G and the locator coming in from the travel agency. Okay. You can see that it's the Hanair. This is the Hanair flight number that was booked. Right. So the reservation is all here. The class is the GDS class. The charges are good. For some reason the baggage is not, the automated baggage is not selected on this one, but it is on some of the other ones I can show you. And that's it. The booking is now complete. The passenger would actually be able to travel now. The ticket number wasn't sent for that one.
We have to insert manually every booking that is made on GDS?
No. These ones are ones I stopped from processing so that you could see what it looks like. If I go back here now and do just an advanced search for the past.
Retrieve, yeah. Okay.
Everything you'll see, here's all of the bookings that Hanair actually made prior to today that we tested with. So they've cancelled some, they've ticketed a couple, so this one here should have been ticketed. I can't find the ones that were ticketed right now. Cancelled. Okay, so here's one that was ticketed. Then they canceled the segments after, but you do have the tickets. All right, so this one was booked and ticketed. They did cancel it after. Here's another one that was booked, ticketed. So here's a completed booking. Everything is fine. The tickets are on file. The ticket numbers would be sent to, will go into P&L with the record locators for the passenger for the check-in. Everything will be okay. And that's basically it. The booking reacts the same once it's created, right? So everything goes through. Take a look at the charges here. Here you can see that the automated baggage item, the 15 kilos, was added at no additional cost as you set up. I think it was Ornella set it up. So everything is fine. Each passenger has 2 pieces of baggage. The F class for the GDS fare was selected. It automatically goes to this balance account called GDS account. Basically, it's a default company account on the company screen here. Has number 1020, and it just has a running balance, open balance to balance the tickets. and you'll get a list of the bookings that are on there. So you can actually use the this to balance against your reports from Hanair. Okay, so this is like you can run a company.
1020, right? Also,
Pardon me?
It will be also in the application GDS 1020 under companies where we can find the bookings.
Yes, correct. You can do a bookings report for GDS 1020 and that'll give you all of the Hanair bookings. Okay, so that'll be a tracking. You can also do an advanced search here at any point and just do a bookings from the distribution channel of GDS. If you do ignore booking date, if you want to look back as far back as possible, you can put in a locator number, sorry. So you can put in the locator number. So if Hanair contacted you about a particular file, they might give you the locator number. You can actually put that in here and it'll return the file. Or you can do a week search. So if we work for a whole week for this set, we have no bookings right now. Cool. So that's pretty much the message queue and what it does. Everything works on its own. There isn't, like I said, there isn't really a lot of manual intervention required on your side. It does warrant that you keep a check on this monitor down here, the operations and monitor GDS messages. It really does benefit you because if there's a lot of bookings that are not automatically processing, then there's something not in sync between yourselves and Hanair, so your flight schedule may be different than what they're seeing, or there's something is not working properly between you two. We may have to get involved with Hanair. We may not. It may be something Hanair has to address. But if you come in any day and you see this number at like a high 20 number or something like that, by all means check it. You know, you can actually open a case with support, send me an email or something to have a look at it with you. Because typically, like I said, this should be in the 1 to 2, 5 to 6 max message range for the run of a day. 5 or 6 would be high. I think that would be a lot. Typically, like I said, there's a couple of messages per day would be in there. AVS recaps is another piece. This is where you would actually have to send, when you send a new schedule to Hanair, you should be sending them an AVS recap of all of your flights to update the inventory with the latest inventory. So the address to send is automatically predefined. You don't have to type in any addressing or anything like that. It just basically transfers over to Hanair. And you just pick the flights you want to send an update on. You can send all flights, or you can only send certain flights if you wish to do so. And to do that, you just highlight a flight and select it, or you can click the double arrows at the top here and it moves all flights over. And you just click the generate button and it does it does an automated process. It'll queue up all of the AVS messages and then it'll just pass them on to Hanair to update your inventory in their system for selling. So here's an example actually. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll have already set up the address of Hanair?
Yes, that the AVS will already be set up. I'll have all that set up and in place for you.
You don't have to add another address for it will be as default.
It will be as default. You don't have to add anything for the AVS. AVS is automatic. The only time you would have to do an AVS recap is if you send them a new flight schedule. So AVS is going to be constantly sending to them to keep as bookings are made on flights. They'll get AVS messages to update the availability because, again, there's changes in the inventory and they'll need to know about it to display to their customers. So that's all happens behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about any of that. This message right here is a prime example. Here's one where there's a name change required. So I'm going to do a quick search on that locator. So I'm going to do a search by locator here, and you can copy and paste into this field. right? So it doesn't change. So I can look up this one reservation here and see they want to change the name from Mr. Test Han to Mr. Klaus Han. So going back to the reservation screen, I can do an advanced search by ignoring the booking date, selecting the locator here and pasting in my locator. Right, so there's the booking. So to perform this name change, all you really need to do is come in here and go change, edit, and change the name to KLAUS. Save that. Wow, there's a lot of information required here. Italy.
Date of birth.
Cool. All right. I'm not going to apply the name change fee, and that's it. So once you have actually completed that name change, you can respond to this message. To respond, you would just click reply. Take out the change name piece and click send. That'll go back to Han Air. It's already confirmed, so they'll know. It'll just make sure that the name is updated, and click send. Message has gone back successful to them.
If they have to pay something, which form of payment we have to choose?
That I'm not sure what your arrangement is there for name changes and charging. You'll have to talk to. They would have to they would have to collect a name change fee on their side for that. Okay, so you would have to, if you were going to process the name change fee on that file, what you would normally have to do there is put it against that exact same account. So I did knock the name change fee off here, so I can add on a fee, right? So what you would do here is I'll just add any charge for now, just so you can see what happens. So you click save here, so there's an outstanding balance. So when the name change fee goes on the file, to make the payment, you just, as normal, take payment.
Okay, we can
Take
choose.
on account, and it'll go directly to that account.
Okay.
Okay? And that's fine. So it'll be cleared. Han Air will be collecting the change fees. I'm fairly certain. They'll look after collecting the change fees.
Han Air, and then Han Air will collect with the locator.
They will collect the pay, and then when they transfer the money to you, the money will come across as part of their submission.
But if the agency wants to pay on Visa, we can choose a Visa too.
They would have to be in front of you at the airport. They won't be paying Visa because remember, you will not get a Visa, right? All of the payments are being collected by Han Air because they're collecting an electronic ticket from the customer. They're issuing an electronic ticket to the customer for the payment that they're receiving, right? So you won't have you won't do any transactions for those. The money is collected through Han Air. So again, these are some of the typical messages. AVS. So then in the alerts queue down here, I might have to go cancel a flight. You'll see there's a column here for GDS. So this will give you a list of flights that have passengers on them that are booked that will require a GDS intervention, an ASC message being sent. So if I cancel this flight, which is 224 on December 19th, and remember all this is in your training, by the way.
But you are using flight schedule for canceling a flight.
Just for this one. In this case,
Okay.
in this case, I am. I just want to do something quick.
GDS this information?
Pardon me?
Does this information reflect on GDS if you cancel from flight scheduling?
Not when it's a day of cancellation, no. No, no. If you were doing a mass schedule change, I would cancel it from the route, just so when you issue your new SIM file, it shows the correct flight information. Okay.
Yeah, but in this case, I wanted to cancel for tomorrow morning. It's not another way to cancel.
Well, if you're canceling for tomorrow morning, when you cancel a flight, no matter when you cancel it, it automatically it stops bookings from the GDS. Yes, it does. They'll get an AVS message closing out that flight. So once the flight is closed,
the message into GDS.
You won't have to send it. No, it'll automatically go out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we're looking for the alerts, which are somewhere in the background here. December 19th.
Okay, już alerta.
Okay, so here's the one we have. So when there's a number in the GDS list, you'll see two additional buttons down here on this alert screen, one for bulk move and one for ASC. So if I take a bulk move, it will automatically preload this screen to match what the flight information is. We can try and move to the exact same day if there's any flights. So I find there's no flights on the 19th. So if I was to put flights for the 20th here, still no flights.
Because we don't have Brindisi Tirana in training. We don't have schedule on it.
Oh yeah, well this was in training BDS Tirana just for that day. What other day would it be possible to find it, do you think?
You have to change route.
On September, because we don't have a schedule on in Brindisi right now.
Okay, well this was an old schedule that they were using.
The only way is on the past. In fact, what another solution can we find to protect the passenger in this case from instead of Brindisi to Bari, which is will be the way.
Sorry, say that again. How would you reprotect?
Exactly, on Bari instead of Brindisi in this case.
Okay.
Another city.
So you would have to do a change on this one then. You'd have to come into the file and actually do a change.
So to override everything.
And overwrite everything.
Okay. Okay.
Oh. Right, so you can do that. So if I move him across. So yes.
In this case,
so when you go to, now there's a button here that says handle the alerts. So if I handle this alert, it will send the ASC message.
Yes. But we have to remove balance due first, or not?
Yes, you have to. Yeah, you have to.
Otherwise, it doesn't result on PNL. But I have another question.
Okay.
It's possible that during the reprotection of this passenger, when we choose another destination that maybe doesn't have the same fare class and fare basis available, can the system override it automatically? Because we have to override all taxes and all admin fee, everything on this booking, because once it goes on balance, the passenger will not result of the check-in system. So what I ask is, it's possible to have, in these cases, availability of all the fare classes. So once we choose the other flight, the fare, the original fare, can be available
No.
to avoid all the overriding process.
No, there's not possible to override that at this time. No, you have to pick a new fare. You could try using edit route, and if the exact same booking code is on that flight, then there's no fare override required. So I could do an edit route, but then that keeps the same thing. If you're changing the from or the to, you will have a difference in charges.
The difference in charges, true. It's not only the fare.
Yes, because we actually override the taxes too.
Because from airport to airport, taxes are different.
Correct.
So,
but you're paying the different amount if you're moving someone to a different airport.
Yes, but if we cancel
if
a
it's
ticket,
our fault,
it's without payment, without charges. So we have to protect